Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Radash. All praises, honor, glory, love, respect, faith, and power, and trust, and all credit to my Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and my Heavenly Big Brother, Yahweh Shah. Thank you so much for what you've done, what you're doing, and what you're going to do. Double honors to your apostles and elders and bishops of GMS, Great Millstone, who I learned from, and all the men scattered all over the world, teaching this truth and none but the truth in the name, spirit, and the power of Yahweh Bashim Shah. Try to put a spiritual bug in you Hebrew Israelites' ears, you so-called Black Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and you speckled birds. And what is a speckled bird? That'd be a Hebrew Israelite that look like some of the heathen nations, like, for example, a Hebrew Israelite that look like a so-called white person or so-called Chinese person, etc., etc. Got some videos lined up about just random stuff, random news that's going on around the world. Gonna play these videos. I'm gonna get into the scripture my best ability. Say whatever I gotta say through the spirit and the power of Yahweh by Shema Shah, the Holy Spirit, the Karhak Badash, Lord willing be on me, let's get it.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your time. Well, as Germany continues to militarize and shift toward war economy, I believe it is very important to understand just how the current policy of Chancellor Merz is affecting the population of Germany, its industries, and what to expect next. I think we need to put this into context, and that's precisely what I intend to do in this video, and I hope that you find it interesting and also informative. Germany was once the undisputed economic engine of Europe. For many decades, it actually represented industrial excellence, technological innovation, and fiscal discipline. Remember those days? Well, today that image is fading. It is completely dead, some would argue. Germany is now facing what many economists describe as its deepest economic crisis since the Second World War. After years of stagnation, Europe's largest economy has become trapped in a dangerous combination of weak growth and persistent inflation, which is a condition known as stagflation. According to Germany's Independent Council of Economic Experts, the economy is expected to grow by just 0.5% in 2026 and 0.8% in 2027. Meanwhile,
from homes to hospitals to businesses, Georgia's data centers are unlocking a smarter
inflation is projected to climb to around 3%. Those numbers may not sound catastrophic, but they do represent something far more troubling for Germany. The country has failed to recover the momentum that it enjoyed before the pandemic, and much of the global economy has actually moved on. For Germans, inflation, of course, carries particularly painful historical memory. The country experienced two devastating episodes of hyperinflation during the 20th century, which left a lasting political and psychological scar. Even moderate inflation effectively generates enormous public anxiety to these days. The result is an economy that has stopped growing while the cost of living continues to rise. When Chancellor Friedrich Merz, who is now the most unpopular political leader in Europe, when he entered office, he promised to restore Germany's competitiveness because it is the backbone not only of the economy in Germany, but also the prosperity of its population. His government has actually introduced spending cuts, welfare reforms, and proposals to raise retirement age to address the enormous fiscal burden that is created by Germany's aging population. But many of Germany's problems cannot be solved through domestic policy alone, and that has become quite obvious. The refusal to consume relatively cheap Russian energy by Germany fundamentally changed the country's industrial model. For many years, Germany effectively manufactured its products and relied on affordable natural gas that was imported from Russia. That competitive advantage that it used to enjoy has actually disappeared almost overnight. At the same time, Germany shut down its nuclear power plants following decisions that were made years earlier under Chancellor Angela Merkel. Replacing the lost generating capacity has actually proven to be far more expensive and complicated than the German political elite has anticipated. Now, at the same time, ongoing instability in the Middle East has disrupted global shipping routes and increased transportation costs, which added further pressure on businesses and consumers across Germany. Germany's export-driven economy has therefore been squeezed from every single direction. Now, adding to those challenges is intensifying competition from China. And this is the elephant in the room. Chinese manufacturers are no longer simply producing low-cost consumer goods. They are now competing directly with Germany in electric vehicles, in industrial machinery, in renewable energy equipment, batteries, and advanced manufacturing technologies. And so the country's famous automotive industry, which has long been considered the backbone of German prosperity, is now under enormous pressure. And by the way, I just uploaded an entire video several days ago where I discussed that Germany is turning its automobile factories into drone factories as it transitions to war economy because it is preparing for a direct confrontation with Russia. If you're interested, I have multiple videos here on my channel where I go into greater detail, and there are also expert interviews such as the most recent one with the ex-CIA Larry Johnson, who discussed NATO's recent summit. And you're welcome to watch those videos next. Now, Volkswagen, Europe's largest automaker, has unveiled one of the most dramatic restructuring plans in recent history. Management is now considering closing several German factories while cutting as many as 100,000 jobs across the group. Plans in a variety of German cities actually have been mentioned as being at risk. The company says that these painful measures are absolutely necessary for the company to survive, which is a first in Volkswagen's history. Volkswagen faces slowing demand, of course, for electric vehicles. It is facing shrinking profit margins, rising labor costs, and fierce competition from Chinese automakers that are producing increasingly competitive vehicles at significantly lower prices. So effectively, Germany is no longer competitive. Volkswagen's announcement triggered protests across Germany. Workers demonstrated at 18 Volkswagen facilities, with union members accusing management of forcing employees to pay for years of strategic mistakes. At the company's headquarters in Wall
Wait a minute.
triggered protests across Germany. Workers demonstrated at 18 Volkswagen facilities, with union members accusing management of forcing employees to pay for years of strategic mistakes.
Damn. The employees gotta pay for the company's fuck-ups.
At the company's headquarters in Wolfsburg, labor representatives warned executives that they could not simply, quote, pass the buck onto the workforce. This is, of course, not an ordinary labor dispute. Volkswagen directly employs over 650,000 people across its various brands, and Germany's automotive sector supports roughly 3 million jobs throughout the broader economy. So if Germany's car industry contracts significantly, the effects will spread across suppliers, engineering firms, logistics.
If Volkswagen cut that many people and shut down that many factories, what about all the other shit that they own? Or they probably sold some. Yeah, I know they're gonna sell it, like Bugatti. I don't know if they still own that shit. They probably own some other shit. They probably sold that crap too. Man, this shit falling to pieces. Mainly on Edom. But you Israelites, hey, better hop on board. And I'm talking about worldwide, not just here in America, but worldwide. Germany, you Israelites over there, this shit is collapsing. And see, Yahweh Shema Shah. And then you like look at Germany. Germany is like I would guess the more technological, more industrial country in Europe, Western Europe, so-called Europe, but Western Europe or Eurasia. That's over in there, or part of EU than any other EU country or so-called Europe country, and that bitch collapsing. So if they collapsing, goddamn, the rest of the way, man, the Lord is jacking this place up, jacking the whole world up, making shit crumble.
Hubs, steel producers, chemical manufacturers, and thousands of small businesses. The consequences could reshape the entire German economy, and one could argue that this crisis has already begun. We're watching the very first days of this crisis unfold. But truth be told, automobiles are only part of the story, actually. Germany's traditional economic model depends heavily on family-owned industrial companies. These businesses remain highly successful in many specialized manufacturing sectors, but critics argue that they have been slower than their American and Asian competitors, and they have been slower in terms of investment in high-risk industries such as artificial intelligence, advanced software, semiconductor design, and commercial space technologies. Innovation increasingly depends not only on engineering talent, but also on venture capital, on risk-taking, and also regulatory flexibility, which arguably Germany has very little of. So in those areas, Germany has struggled to keep pace with its competitors. Even the country's growing military-industrial complex reveals some of these structural weaknesses, which really makes me question how Germany is planning to take on Russia with such a structural challenge. Germany plans to dramatically increase military spending over the coming years, which could potentially cause it to borrow hundreds of billions of euros to modernize the Bundeswehr. However, critics worry that much of the spending will flow toward large established corporations instead of smaller innovative firms that have transformed modern warfare through inexpensive drones, autonomous systems, and software-driven technologies. At the same time, German manufacturers continue relocating production to lower-cost European countries, reducing domestic employment despite rising government military spending, and also seeking lower energy costs. Economic uncertainty is also reshaping Germany's politics. Support for the Alternative for Germany, or AfD, has continued to rise, particularly in eastern Germany, where economic dissatisfaction remains much stronger. Many voters increasingly feel that decades of globalization have benefited large corporations while leaving ordinary workers behind. And can you really argue with them? As unemployment rises and factories face closures and layoffs, political polarization has intensified. divide across Germany. Economic frustration is feeding broader debates over immigration, national identity, and Germany's future direction. This is a pattern that is seen repeatedly throughout history. When economic optimism disappears, political stability often becomes much more fragile. Germany, therefore, finds itself at a crossroads.
Well, anyway, countries that's going under like this, like Germany, it's only going to lead to the chip implant, the mark of the beast. Let's get to the next video.
Russia's decision to suspend diesel exports has sent fresh shockwaves through global energy markets, tightening supplies of one of the world's most critical transport fuels. Diesel powers trucks, ships, farm equipment, construction machinery, and backup power generators, making it vital to economic activity. Russia is the world's second largest diesel exporter after the US, and its exports had already been falling because of refinery disruptions and domestic fuel shortages following Ukrainian drone attacks. According to Kepler, Russian diesel and gas oil loadings averaged 200.
And don't Germany receive or used to receive diesel? Let me see. Does Germany receive diesel from Russia? Oh, no. Germany no longer. Well, no shit. I mean, no longer since 2023. But they used to. And yeah, and like I said, natural gas. I know you know the pipelines. What happened to those pipelines? The EU sanctioned following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, so they cut them off or whatever. They used to receive diesel and pretty much energy from Russia. Anyway, but another thing too, I forgot to mention, a lot of those countries are ran by Edomites, and them niggas are divided. Yep. And who made that division? The Lord.
34,000 barrels per day.
That's another thing I forgot to mention.
Between July 1st and 10th, down sharply from 400,000 barrels per day in June and well below the 2025 average of around 817,000 barrels per day. The export ban comes at a time when the global diesel market is already under strain. Fresh US strikes on Iran have renewed concerns over shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. At the same time, US government data showed diesel inventories fell by more than 4.5 million barrels last week to 97.8 million barrels, and this is around 6% below the 5-year average. Years of refinery closures, strong post-pandemic demand, and ongoing geopolitical tensions have left global diesel supplies tight, making the market increasingly vulnerable to fresh disruptions. The impact is already visible in fuel markets. US ultra-low sulfur diesel futures jumped 11%, while Europe's low sulfur gas oil premium over Brent crude climbed to a record high. Although Europe and the US no longer import Russian diesel, the loss of Russian exports reduces global supply, and this forces major buyers such as Brazil and Turkey to compete for cargoes from other exporters, particularly the US. Analysts also warn that the tighter market could increase fuel costs for freight, agriculture, and electricity generation, while uncertainty over future Chinese fuel.
Yeah. Expect though, don't be surprised when them damn electric bill go up more. And pretty much everything else, of course.
The fuel crisis in Russia is already spreading beyond the fuel market, predictably spilling over into other sectors that, in one way or another, require uninterrupted access to gasoline and diesel fuel. In particular, Russian farmers are facing diesel fuel shortages, which are disrupting the harvest.
Now look at this shit. Now listen closely. This may be happening in Russia, but all you other countries that or you Israelites that's in other countries like UK or the United States or Canada, and you thinking this would never happen here, or Japan, some countries that's developed. I mean, Russia got a little. They pretty developed. Heck yeah, and y'all don't. And China. Well, anyway, let's just say this gonna come to y'all neck of the woods. Hell right. Hell yeah, it's coming to y'all neck of the woods. Each country is experiencing certain things, and eventually those certain things from one country to another, all this shit. Like if this country ain't experiencing something, guess what? They gonna get hit by it eventually. And really, all the whole world is gonna experience the same shit. Come down the plagues and Jacob trouble, pretty much. I'll just come down. I'll just say it like that. Cause it's gonna be so much shit going on, man. I can't even name it. I can tell you lack of energy or fuel, food, famine. Yeah, cause without that energy, you can't produce shit. Look what this need. These diesel and these energy to gather up all this wheat.
Season, Forbes reports. The article.
And then sometimes might not be no wheat to gather because there ain't no fertilizer. Or no daggone, or the wheat been destroyed by wildfire or hail or storms, flooded and all that other shit. Man, yeah.
Notes that a good
I can tell you, man, the Lord is jacking this place up. Better seek Yahweh Bashim Shah.
grain harvest was predicted for Russia this year, but given the fuel crisis caused by Ukrainian attacks on Russian oil infrastructure, the harvest is turning into a nightmare. The situation is most challenging in the country's southern regions, which are key grain producers. These include the Rostov region, as well as the Krasnodar and Stavropol Krais, which account for approximately a fifth of Russia's grain harvest. For example, one Krasnodar farmer told reporters that diesel fuel is only available at a few gas stations along the M4 federal highway. He said drivers are forced to wait for fuel trucks to arrive, and many gas stations have fuel restrictions of 100 to 200 liters per customer. Meanwhile, a single combine harvester
What is? She said 1 liter? Or it. I think it's an AI generated female voice.
for federal highway. He said drivers are forced to wait for fuel trucks to arrive, and many gas stations have fuel restrictions of 100 to 200 liters per customer.
100 to 200 liters. I guess they probably like 5 gallons maybe. How many gallons is 100 to 200 liters? Well, let me start that over. How many gallons is 100 liter? 26 gallons. Well, but they talking about that's diesel. Yeah, that's diesel. And you got trucks, big trucks. Are they considered? Are they semi trucks? Are they gonna be considered having to be ration diesel? Shit. You got like regular size pickup trucks or shit. It'd be like I don't know how many liters they take. I think it's like 60, probably not 50 or 60 gallons. I think the one I have is like that much. So shit, I won't be getting this much if there was a rationing. But yeah, because fuel rationing is coming. I mean, it's. Oh, let me ask a question on that. Which countries are starting to ration their fuel? We already know Russia is starting on that. They're the most recent. Sri Lanka, Russia, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Maldives, I can't pronounce that shit. Nepal, whatever. Yeah, those countries. Yep. And it's coming to America.
Meanwhile, a single combine harvester can consume up to 300 liters of diesel fuel per shift. In the Rostov region, farmers are already anticipating losses of up to 15% of their harvest if diesel fuel supply problems persist. Agricultural representatives from the Sverdlovsk region and Yakutia also reported a difficult situation. For example, in Yakutia, restrictions on diesel fuel sales are in place, up to 200 liters per customer, which complicates fieldwork over long distances. The publication's sources reported that due to fuel shortages, some agricultural equipment is idle in occupied Crimea. Experts emphasize that grain harvesting is limited to a short window of time, typically between 1 week and 10 days after ripening. Failure to harvest within these timeframes will result in grain shedding, and adverse weather conditions can further complicate the operation of agricultural machinery. According to SOV Econ, as of July 1st, approximately 1.3 to 1.5 million hectares of crops had been threshed in Russia, compared to 4.2 to 4.6 million hectares for the same period last year. The Financial Times also reports that the consequences of the fuel crisis in Russia extend beyond the fuel market. For example, in Chita, a waste collection operator suspended operations until the gasoline shortage is resolved, and Wildberries, Russia's largest marketplace, increased its fees for sellers due to rising fuel prices. Media previously reported that Russia has imposed a complete ban on diesel fuel exports and is beginning to import petroleum products due to the fuel crisis. Russian Deputy Prime Minister Alexander Novak, whose statements were quoted by Russian media, announced that Russia would completely ban the export of diesel fuel and begin importing petroleum products. Thus, after several weeks of discussions, the Russian government finally announced the above-mentioned measures. Novak stated that the decision to completely stop diesel fuel exports was made against the backdrop of ongoing problems in the domestic market. He also clarified that the first deliveries of imported petroleum products should arrive on the Russian market in July.
Moving on from the Great Depression to the recent financial crises, some economies have faced historic collapses in output, jobs and living standards. These downturns have shaped global economic history from the 1930s depression to modern-day crises in Europe, Asia and Latin America. In this next News and Numbers report, we look at how the most severe recession in history have played out. Take a look.
Okay, that's all. Oh, they're showing like a list of shit popping up. Man, I ain't studying that shit. Anyway.
Known as the capital of China's influencer economy, Hangzhou now has...
Look at these bitches. Look at them. Every single one of them. Goodness gracious. This shit is a fucking mess, bro.
one live stream.
All these hoes want to be damn. These Chinese hoes want to be damn on social media influencers. Probably got the same damn garbage ass content.
Streamer for every 244 people.
And look at her little skinny beanie, little Chinese, what's they call that bitch? Olive oil. Little Chinese olive oil.
With 50,000 people competing for a limited number of positions.
What the fuck she doing? You know she ain't got no salt.
However, amid an economic slowdown,
you know that bitch ain't got no salt.
Rising traffic acquisition cost and an imbalance between supply and demand, salaries across the industry
A lot of them are pretty cute though.
Have fallen by around 50% on average. Many streamers are now facing unemployment or are being forced to switch careers, fueling debate over whether Hangzhou's influence economy is entering a period of collapse.
我跟你说个扎心的事实啊。
Let me tell you something pretty harsh. A few days ago, during one of my daytime live streams, a person in charge from a company I had worked with before came to see me. I won't get into his exact position, but he had worked with us about 4 years ago. After that, he took over several major influencers, the kind with more than 10 million followers, and many of them have since left Hangzhou. He came to my company yesterday and we had a brief chat. He told me that right now a huge number of...
Yeah, and this shit right here. The fuck, this shit got to go. All this K-pop... This bullshit got to go, man. These niggas, man. And a lot of these niggas could be Jake, too. Cause some of these niggas be talented, but a lot of these niggas could be Jake. But this shit got to go looking like a bitch.
Of influencers, there are teams and many brands in Hangzhou have basically collapsed. They can no longer keep going.
God damn, what the fuck is this shit? Them niggas looking like bitches.
They've pulled
They got fucking makeup on. This how this shit got to go.
Out of Hangzhou altogether. Take Hangzhou's well-known influencer building, the Li Jing International Center, as an example. At its peak, the building housed nearly 20,000 live stream hosts and industry workers, with some even claiming that one building's GDP...
Hey, wait a minute, that K-pop shit, I thought Xi Jinping banned that shit. Well, no, he banned what looked like banned a man that looked like a woman. I thought he had laid some laws down to ban that bullshit. I don't know. Yeah, they're talking about in China, they're supposed to be bringing back manhood. Or trying to do something to boost back up manhood and such. But I don't know.
Was comparable to that of an entire county. Today, however, the building once bustling hub has become eerily quiet, with rents plunging by half, and then falling by half again. Some single-room rents have dropped from 4,500 yuan to just 1,200 yuan. Landlords now complain daily in group chats asking where have all the tenants gone this year. High vacancy rates have become the norm. The corridors are dimly lit, and the once familiar sales countdown motto 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 link up is no longer heard.
杭州的电商现在特别萧条，以往走到这里都是
Hangzhou's e-commerce industry is really struggling right now. In the past, when you walked through here, you could always hear the 5, 4, 3, 2.
Some pretty looking bitches right there. But then you know the fucked up thing? I'd mention that the dudes wearing makeup look like bitches. They could be dudes. That's the fucked up thing. I mean, I'm like, this motherfucking shit need to go, man. But yeah, I like her. She kind of nice looking.
1. Add to cart countdowns from live stream promotions. But this year it's completely quiet. The place feels empty, almost like the lights have gone out. It's a pretty...
Well, I don't want to be dealing with no Moabite chick. The bitch probably eating tarantulas and shit. Smiling, looking all cute. And then the bitch, you find out the bitch eating goddamn iguana tails or something. Shit.
Striking change for this industry. The cycle of transformation along with the rise of new fields like AI has had a major impact on the entire sector. If Hangzhou's live stream e-commerce industry has already become this quiet, it's hard to imagine what the situation is like in other cities. Look at this building, most of the lights are off now, and this is right before the 618 shopping day.
Another influencer has left. Look, they're not doing it anymore. This is what's happening in...
Alright, man, I get the hell out. These bitches going influence crazy, and it's failing. All that bullshit failing. Love they should be, what is it, lovers of thyself and shit. And people ain't studying y'all asses. I mean, I don't even know what the hell going on. I can tell you the Lord's just disrupting they little bullshit, putting a wrinkle in their bubble. everything. And it's so funny, like some videos you watch or I watch where they talking about China making a come up, they motherfuckers are looking bad financially. Shit. But one thing, I mean, things are looking bad financially there, but that's the only reason why to bring them chip implants. They talking a whole lot about them brain chips in China and pretty much whatever other country they developing brain chips. They talking a whole lot about it. Yep. So that shit coming. Don't forget about that with all these economic problems, financial issues going on in this country, that country, and all these countries all over around the world. These niggas getting ready to roll out the chip implant. When your ass is desperate, hungry, and need a help, guess what? Them niggas like, hey, hit a chip. Take it or die. You want to live? Take it. If you take it, you going to die. Shit. Yeah. But, let's get to the next video. Well, actually, yeah, I'll go ahead and get to it.
How long have you been sitting here?
I just need to make my video,
You know what? I'm not gonna play that one.
At the NATO summit in Ankara, the gathering that was supposed to demonstrate alliance unity, Donald Trump sat next to NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte in front of the International Press Corps and said this about Spain, which is a founding NATO member.
I have a feeling this video that I was about to play about why best American scientists are heading to China. I'm guessing could be, it might be these niggas here that specialize in, and it's talking about brain, and it's showing like a human brain in the thumbnail. There's an image of it, so I'm guessing they going to get some share some information or share, get some how did China do it, figuring out how did China do it. So we got to link up with China and collab with them and shit. I'm like, man, that's why I say brain chips. That's why I mentioned brain chips.
Spain is a terrible partner in NATO. They don't participate, they don't pay. I don't want anything to do with Spain. Cut off all trade with Spain, please, including visits.
And shit, what do you think everybody feel about America? They the worst part. Business, they worse when it comes to business, money, military, everything. You can't trust these devils. Shit, can't trust none of them. No matter what country it is, and I'm talking about Edomites.
He then turned to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and said, take it immediately. Bessent replied, yes, sir. Trump continued, don't even talk to them. They're hopeless, bad people. He called Spain a wasted cause. He said he didn't want any trade business with Spain anymore. And he said this at a NATO.
And what the hell does the United States have to trade with Spain or any of these other countries? These motherfuckers don't produce shit. What, soybeans? They can't even sell soybeans, hardly. No, because China, you know that shit that happened months ago. Yeah, well, anyway.
NATO summit about a NATO ally while sitting next to the NATO Secretary General, who earlier this year called Trump daddy in an effort to keep
what the fuck?
The relationship functional. Well, the relationship does not appear to be functional. Turns out, no amount of institutional...
That motherfucker really called him daddy? What is that video footage of that shit?
Dirty talk can satisfy a superpower determined to have a public meltdown. Spain didn't want to play along, so Washington packed up its toys and decided to ground the entire country of Spain on live television. My name is Elle, and I use data analysis to spot patterns in geopolitics and economics, and the pattern here is that what this channel has been documenting for months, the systematic alienation of every American ally one by one, week by week, has now escalated from diplomatic friction to an explicit trade war declared live on camera against a country the president is supposed to be allied with. At this rate, America's foreign policy strategy is basically a geopolitical version of the burn book. If you aren't actively helping them violate international law, you're officially hopeless and bad. Trump has insulted Meloni, threatened Denmark over Greenland, as we've covered in a previous video, withdrawn submarines from NATO, leaked Dutch civil servants' names, threatened to suspend Spain back in March, imposed tariffs on European steel and cars, and now, at the alliance's own summit, he has ordered the complete cessation of trade with a European nation and called its people hopeless and bad. The immediate...
I might as well go ahead and get to this before I forget. Daniel chapter 7 verse 20, and of the 10 horns, they're talking about, I think it's NATO or is it EU? Well, one of them, I can't remember. I sometimes get brain fog, but NATO, EU, that were in his head, and of the other, which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake great things, whose look was more stout than his fellow. And they talking about America. That's that's America right there. Because especially Trump talking so much big shit, proud as hell. People hate him, hate America pretty much. I mean, hate America completely. But they sometimes have to go to America, and you know, for whatever shit. But now they about damn tired of America. Get back to the video, but the stout of the fella. I was reading this, I was like, yo, whose look was more stout than his fellow? That's America. And what she's saying is, hey man, let me run that back. I don't want to start running my mouth too much. Let me run that back.
March imposed tariffs on European steel and cars, and now at the alliance's own summit, he has ordered the complete cessation of trade with a European nation.
And you know, that's fucking up America. I'm like, I mean, ultimately, it's the Lord that's controlling this dummy.
Called its people hopeless and bad. The immediate trigger was defense spending. NATO allies...
And plus, all these Edomites, I mean, countries, like I said earlier, these countries that's ran by Edomites, they're all divided, mostly divided against America. Yeah, and that's, let me get to the scripture on that, about division. The house of Edom. Mark chapter 3 verse 23. And he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end. Yep.
Agreed at last year's summit at The Hague.
And they all about to fight each other. And especially these NATO, EU countries, they about to, goddamn, they got them missiles ready to be sent off and carry their nuclear payload to America.
To target 5% of GDP, up from the previous 2% target. Spain was the only member state that publicly refused to commit to the full 5%, instead negotiating flexibility in how it would meet NATO's capability goals. Spain currently spends 2.1% of GDP on defense, up from 1.4% back in 2021, and ranks 7th among NATO's 32 members. Rutte himself intervened during the Trump's tirade, pointing out that Spain had made a huge step in the last year, but Trump was not interested. He wanted capitulation, not progress. To be clear, Spain does need to increase its defense spending. 2.1% when the agreed target is 5% is a legitimate gap, and Sanchez's refusal to commit to the full target is a real point of friction that predates Trump and will outlast him likely. But there is a difference that every diplomat in that room in Ankara understood, between pressing an ally to spend more and ordering the complete cessation of trade while calling its people hopeless and bad on live television. One is diplomacy, the other is coercion, and coercion applied publicly to a NATO ally at a NATO summit, live on camera, does more damage to the alliance than any spending shortfall ever could. But defense spending is only the surface. Spain refused to let the United States use the jointly operated Rota naval base and Moron air base in southern Spain to support bombing operations against Iran. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez called the U.S.-Israeli military campaign against Iran an extraordinary mistake and said the bases could not be used for unilateral military action that lacked international legal backing. Spain chose international law over American pressure. Trump chose punishment over diplomacy. If you've been following this channel's coverage of European sovereignty, this is the coercion part, the one where the United States stops pretending and says what it actually wants from its allies, obedience. And it is a pattern that an increasing number of...
Yes, ain't a bow down, bitch. And that's what America... They're dominating. They want to be the top on everything. But they're not being the top. The Lord is breaking that bitch down. Breaking it down. And nobody will have whatever, a rank. None of these nations will have a rank in dominating the world and control. Fuck no.
People, not just governments, are recognizing, because obedience isn't just demanded at the level of nations, it's demanded at the level of your data, your platforms, and increasingly your AI. People regularly ask me to recommend alternatives to big tech, and increasingly that includes AI, because with AI you're rarely just asking a chatbot a question. You may be handing over drafts, work problems, personal doubts, or half-formed ideas you haven't even said out loud yet. And with many mainstream AI tools, that means trusting large US...
I'm gonna stop right. Oh, this is an ad. Oh, I didn't even know that. Now she's just throwing in some ad sponsorships. They caught me off guard, bro. I mean, if you want to watch the rest of the video, I'm just going to start right now. If you want to watch the rest of it, be my guest. They go to the title of the video. They go to her channel. Freedom Fuel. Trump cheap gas stunt exposed. You know what? Let's play that shit. Because I know, I'm pretty sure if this like Freedom Gas, you know they got that. They're talking about cheap gas. Yeah, cheap not on price, but cheap on quality. Yeah, they probably got all that ethanol shit. They probably got E50 in that bitch.
Lock in with deals on all your game day snacks and groceries. Store game day deals for a limited time on Uber Eats.
So the White House recently put out this video touting a chain of quote-unquote freedom fuel gas stations, which are offering gas prices much lower than...
Why the hell they just popped up out of nowhere? Or they... somebody... I don't know. Is this like some... I don't know. There's a railroad gas station or something? A BP gas station? Now they just changed up all they signs and such? I don't know.
The rest of the market. Let's go ahead and take a look at this video.
I saved money. I had to go back in and get my change. I thought gas was more expensive, but it's not. So thanks, Trump, for saving me some money.
We're here at the...
Wow, they're saying, where is this shit at?
First Freedom Fuel Network gas station right here in Philadelphia, leading the charge to lower gas prices, $3.40.
Oh, they did. Yeah, I see what they did. They just put, it's not even official signs and shit. They just put like made vinyl wrap or what's this shit called? Something like a damn. It's a banners. Yeah, banners. They just got banners zip tied up here to make it look like it's a legit business. What is it? The real title is it's just cheap as fuck. It's some other little rinky dink gas stations.
7 cents. That's for our 47.
Like probably a Circle K or some shit. Well, Circle K, yeah, Circle K pretty big.
President Donald J. Trump. The price of gas here is 50.
Probably Murphy USA or some shit.
Cents lower than the Pennsylvania average gas price.
4th of July, gas prices are coming down, which is great. I am very happy about the cheap gas prices. Happy 4th of July.
Hopefully everyone has a great holiday.
Oh, wait a minute. How much was the gas there before they opened up this gas station? Shit, that ain't cheap. Was it $3.47? Get the fuck out of here. That ain't cheap. Hell, it's $3.40. Well, that's up north. Hold on, let me see. He said Pennsylvania. How much is unleaded fuel in Pennsylvania? Why the fuck does she keep doing this? $3.57. Right, hold on. The national. Yeah, this is the national. I asked Pennsylvania, nigga. What is the average fuel price for Pennsylvania? I forgot in a minute. $3.97. That's average. Guy, you know, in certain areas they're gonna be different prices in certain areas, but $3.97. It's still $3.40. I mean, you expect to be damn $2. Now that'd be cheap. Yeah, $2 would be cheap, and diesel would be like, I mean, shit, way less than that, way less than $4 or $5.
The gas prices are lowered.
I'm just grateful. Right now, we're in a difficult time in this world, but it's nice to see some stability.
This is AI generated. His wrinkles don't look wrinkly. They look like AI. I don't know.
That we can enjoy. Definitely.
Yeah, because the shit is. Hold on, wait a minute now.
Hopefully everyone has a great holiday. Super pumped the gas prices are lowered.
I'm just grateful. Right now, we're in a difficult time in this world, but it's nice to see.
But they stop. It's not flowing. It's AI.
Gas prices are lowered.
I'm just grateful.
That shit's so pathetic. Now you watching video, and if it there's a cut scene. It could be actors. It could be real people actors. But either way, it's fake. Either it's actors using real people and they're acting, or they're just AI generated. It's all fake. They're probably AI generated because it's cheap. It's cheaper than these niggas ain't gonna be paying actual people.
Right now, we're
tell this bullshit.
We're in a difficult time in this world, but it's nice.
Stop. It cut scene. It wasn't like still flowing.
To see some stability that we
and they did it again.
Definitely appreciate the lower gas prices.
Oh yeah, that's right.
When I saw it, I thought it was fake news, but I'm glad it's true. I definitely couldn't believe my eyes. I just rolled past, and I'm actually taking a trip down the shore, so I wasn't even gonna come again.
Jake got the do-rag and the big old long T-shirt. Like, get the fuck. They gotta make. They gave this guy this wardrobe, so you gotta look like a typical brother.
Yeah, I'm glad I did.
Looking clean in your white tee.
Now they just saved me a lot of money. Thanks a lot, Trump. Just keep doing what you're doing. Doing a good job.
Thank you, President Trump.
Thank you for helping our country.
It's President
Oh my goodness, shit.
Donald J. Trump leading the charge to lower gas prices right here at Freedom Fuel Network's gas stations.
What a fucking joke. Goodness gracious, these long ass.
We've run out of options, Theseus. Prepare for an orbital strike.
Are you sure, Nessa?
Okay, so this went out from an official White House account, and there's a lot to me that's interesting about this. I mean, first of all, I think Soccer, the politics of it are very interesting. It exposes the fact they see this as a major problem to them. Like, they needed to do something, put out some propaganda of, like, we're bringing prices down, which, by the way, 47, of course, in honor of our 47th president. 347 is not...
You know, I just noticed that.
Oh, you didn't pick up on that? Of course, yes. Although apparently some of the stations have already upped their price a little bit to like $3.50 something, according to the latest reporting. But
I don't know. This is like yesterday, been just now reported, but I know that gas station. I've seen videos about that shit. They had that gas station somewhat put up. It wasn't put up. It was already built as something else. They just put some banners over to cover up the name, and it's gonna be temporary anyway. But shit, you know them damn man, please. Anyway.
In any case, it was originally $3.47. It's very mysterious what is going on here. You can put the New York Times reporting up on the screen because the White House claims they don't have anything to do with this, that they're just celebrating this, whoever is behind this chain of like 25 gas stations that have lowered the price to such a point that they are likely losing money on, you know, for every car that fills up there, they're actually losing money at this price because of what the wholesale price for oil is at this point. So they say Trump is promising freedom fuel for $3.47 a gallon. Who is behind it? These are different gas stations that had a bunch of different branding that are now in this Freedom Fuel Network umbrella. A Delaware corporation was just set up for this Freedom Fuel Network in the past couple of weeks. The funders, investors, whoever's behind this are being kept secret. So no one really knows what is going on here. Now, it does appear that there is an asset manager that owns at least some significant number or did own.
I ain't play no more of this shit. If you want to watch the rest of it, be my guest. They go to title, they go to channel. Yeah, I ain't gonna play too much of this stuff. What is this? Russia's doomsday aircraft. Uh-oh, what is this about? Let's get to it. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about, or I was thinking about, but you mentioned that I might throw in some extra videos in just to, you know, all this is giant spikes of cash are piling up in the West Bank, creating major economic strain. I guess we're gonna get that too.
Russia has flown one of its...
I wasn't really expecting to play other videos, but this is news worldwide. I gotta get to it.
Secure airborne command aircraft straight into the heart of West Asia crisis, Tehran. The deployment comes as the US and Iran are locked in a dangerous standoff. The US is striking Iranian targets as Tehran vows strong retaliation amid escalating tensions over the Strait of Hormuz. The Russian Tu-214PU is no ordinary jet. It's a flying command post for the Kremlin designed to keep Russia's top leadership connected during military crises. The aircraft,
pretty much the doomsday plane. All these countries got doomsday planes.
Operated under the call sign RSD-420, reportedly flew over the Caspian Sea before arriving in Tehran, avoiding other regional airspace. Tu-214PU, a variant of the Tupolev Tu-214, is a specialized airborne command and control aircraft used by the Russian government. Sometimes it is referred to as, informally, Russia's doomsday plane. While it has a cruising speed of 850 kilometers per hour, its maximum range spans from 6,500 kilometers up to 7,000 kilometers. Unlike a standard passenger or VIP aircraft, it features encrypted communication systems, satellite links, and anti-jamming technology. It enables secure communications.
I don't want to hear all that. Well, we know that shit was in the air. War and escalation, energy crisis deepens. 2 wars. I ain't gonna play that, but that's probably with Ukraine or Russia, really involving Russia. Let me see. Let's play this one. Soon that's gonna be obsolete. The stuff they getting out of them damn ATMs. Oh yeah. And then where them chips at? They gonna day. Yeah.
The Israeli government's decision to withhold tax revenues and not transfer them to the Palestinian side and cannot be separated from their decision not to accept the shekel. No, there are two decisions issued by the same party. They achieve the same goal, meaning the Palestinian government is prohibited from receiving its funds and tax revenue, and Palestinian banks are prohibited from shipping out surplus cash. Consequently, both items directly affect the government's ability and the private sector's ability to continue providing services to the Palestinian people. Billions of dollars of frozen funds that cannot be used for lending purposes.
Alright, anyway. Let's move out of this video since she throwing in sponsorships in the middle of videos. Yeah. See what else we got.
This is the fake ad you see everywhere, right? But this is Ebony, a real game. Now I know what you're thinking, aren't they?
In your speech, you spoke of Netanyahu's government as if it is a rogue government, when the reality is that Israel has expanded its settlements under every single Israeli government. It is a rogue state. But you embrace the deregulation agenda, giving billionaires more freedom to destroy our planet.
We must suspend the association agreement with Israel in full because Netanyahu genocides in Gaza. Tizoc, Europe's future depends on delivering social progress together with economic prosperity. During your presidency, you can count.
Uachtaran Ahishuk is
an outnumber of women. They all coming against Amalek.
Chair Taoiseach, the Irish presidency of the Council has an opportunity to be a voice for peace, for human rights and international law, to put our fundamental values forward.
The approach continues to be, we will be principled, but only when it costs us nothing. Ireland is a country with a proud record on peace building, disarmament and international law. That legacy is entirely missing from the government's programme. Instead, Taoiseach, we see you embracing the militarisation agenda against the wishes of the Irish people and launching a full-scale attack on our neutrality. Ireland should use its presidency to deliver EU action to end Israel's illegal occupation of Israel and its apartheid regime. In your speech, you spoke of Netanyahu's government as if it is a rogue government, when the reality is that Israel has expanded its settlements under every single Israeli government. It is a rogue state. And as heatwaves burn, your programme talks of leading the EU at international environmental negotiations, but you embrace the deregulation agenda, giving billionaires more freedom to destroy our planet. I also have concerns that the states that host so much of big...
Goddamn Esau destroying the planet. So-called white man, but he ain't white. He's raised as a baby they sucking, foreskin eating Jewish faggot nigga. God damn. And it take this
can truly lead on data protection. Enforcement remains slow, weak and shaped by the companies that it is meant to regulate. And while discussion on enlargement is welcome, where is the ambition to end partition of our island? Taoiseach, you talk of a shared island, but Irish citizens in the north don't share the benefits of the EU. Concrete measures like observer MEPs and participation in civil society platforms would help to address the democratic deficit. Island, but Irish citizens in the north don't share the benefits of the EU. Concrete measures like observer MEPs and participation in civil society platforms would help to address the democratic deficit. Across our island, the conversation for unity is gaining momentum, yet the Taoiseach is a spectator. But on one thing we can agree, Taoiseach, without values, nothing matters. That's why we cannot allow Ursula von der Leyen to run roughshod over our values and act beyond her mandate. Now is the time for moral leadership, not equivocating.
Thank you. Now I give the floor for the SN Group to Stanislav Stoyanov. SND Group, its Chair Irache Garcia Perez. Thank you. Now I give the floor for the SN Group to Stanislav Stoyanov. SND Group, its Chair Irache Garcia Perez. 3 minutes.
Thank you, President. Tizoc Michal Martin, welcome to the European Parliament. Just 2 weeks ago, I walked through the streets in Dublin. Today, I stand here with those streets still in my mind. Ireland begins its presidency at a defining moment for Europe. Your priorities are competitiveness, security, and our values. But after what I saw in Dublin, I want to ask you one simple question. What kind of Europe are we really building? At Ozanam House, Geraldine, Bishop Amos, and other local community workers told me about families who have done everything right but still cannot afford a home. On Garderin Street, where 10% of Ireland's homeless people are living in emergency accommodation, parents are raising children in a single room. I heard about families whose children do their homework sitting on the fire escape because there is nowhere else to study. And a full-time Dublin bus driver whose salary is still not enough to pay the rent for him and his family. This week, Katrina is here with us in Strasbourg. She received 3 eviction notices in 5 years, all while fighting cancer. PSOK. These are not only Irish stories, they are European stories.
Alright, anyway. I'm sorry. Let's get to the next video. Pretty much they're tired of Amalek shit. They're not Israel, they're Amalek.
You're a professional
I'm on the other side of the screen looking for extra stuff or other news. Not to play, because I think I got enough. I don't want to make this video too long. Oh yeah, 50 minutes. But, yeah.
Tractor. Or simply take pride in handling your own home repairs.
No.
Jerusalem is facing unrest on 2 fronts. Haredi
Little rats.
protesters battled police in the streets, while lawmakers voted inside parliament. A new basic law elevating Torah study has reignited Israel's bitter military draft dispute. With tens of thousands of ultra-Orthodox men still exempt from service, the political storm is only growing.
Some wet rats.
Jerusalem witnessed fresh unrest as Haredi protesters clashed with police and disrupted light rail construction. While inside Israel's parliament, lawmakers passed a controversial basic law elevating Torah study to constitutional status, reigniting.
Now, where does it say in the Bible that the chosen people will be going through this type of stuff and be sent off draft of war? But the thing is, in the Bible it says that when the Lord's people in the land, there will be no more wars, and hell, the Lord will be, or our Savior will be here. Yeah, and King David, 144,000 would be established, and Israel will be and Israel will be ruling the whole world. When it comes to these people claiming to be Israel, they doing a piss poor job ruling this world. Shit.
The country's long-running dispute over military service exemptions.
Matter of fact, since I said all that, Isaiah chapter 2, verse 4. And he shall judge among the nations, and that's Yahweh Shah, and shall rebuke many people. So he could be checking these people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. So turn in weapons of warfare into guarding tools, but instead of doing the opposite. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation. They ain't picking up no weapons, no arms, or anything that's a weapon of mass destruction against another nation. Neither shall they learn war anymore. No war strategies, no none of that shit. Plotting on want to kill and take over a land. No. The Lord's gonna stomp all that shit out. It shows you these people are not the people. They're just a bunch of fucking niggers.
According to the Jerusalem Post, hundreds of Haredi protesters blocked roads.
Bunch of godless niggers. That's all.
Attempted to damage.
They do have a god. They got Satan.
Construction sites along Bar Ilan Street.
But let's not get it twisted too. I want to mention that you're gonna have Israelites gonna look like these people. Yep. Not all of them. So let's not go there.
Near Zach's Junction and disrupted work on Jerusalem's Green Line light rail project. Police declare the gathering an unlawful disturbance after demonstrators refused orders to disperse, deploying crowd control measures to reopen roads. Authorities also responded to reports of roadblocks and deliberately set fires near the protest sites. The demonstrations came after weeks of protests against the rail project, which passes through heavily ultra-Orthodox neighborhoods. According to N12, repeated protests have caused more than 400 million shekels in damage to the unfinished Green Line since construction began 6 years ago. The unrest unfolded as the Knesset voted 63 to 52 to pass a deeply divisive basic law declaring Torah study a foundational value of the
Talmud study. Ain't no damn Torah. It's Talmud.
Jewish people and the state of Israel.
Yeah. Well, y'all reading in the Torah, y'all on the outside, you reading something on the out. You see that I'm studying the Torah, but it's actually Talmud on the inside. What they're really reading is that anyway.
The legislation grants Torah study quasi-constitutional status and is widely viewed as.
I think these niggas doing all this fucking retarded shit because they study the Talmud, doing some Talmud activity.
Strengthening the political case for maintaining military exemptions for ultra-Orthodox yeshiva students. After the vote, United Torah Judaism lawmaker Moshe Gafni.
Torah lawmaker. Talmud lawmaker.
One of the bill's sponsors hailed the legislation.
Today, a historic step has been taken in the state of Israel. This basic law will serve as the state's moral compass and express the recognition that Torah study is not merely the heritage of the past,
Talmud study.
but the foundation upon which rests the present and future of the Jewish people on their land.
Shah's
Not your land, nigga.
party chairman Aryeh Deri also celebrated the outcome.
This is a victory for the world of Torah and a clear answer to
World
the
of Talmud.
ousted Attorney General and everyone who sought to persecute and humiliate yeshiva students. You will not succeed in breaking the Jewish spirit. The Holy Torah will prevail.
The Holy Talmud will prevail.
Opposition.
Anytime they talk about Torah, yeah, no, you think of Talmud when it comes to these niggers.
Parties strongly condemned the measure. Opposition leader Yair Lapid accused the government of undermining the military during wartime.
Sitting in the plenum voting on the basic law desecration of the name. Who is not in the plenum? Knesset member Benjamin Netanyahu.
In a separate joint
I don't want to hear nothing about
statement.
these niggers. Anyway, this shit is crumbling for them. It's all crumbling for them. And when it comes to Benjamin Netanyahu, I mean, you got some brothers they'll talk about he's trying to continue on with the war and all that other stuff. But I'm like arresting it. He's trying to avoid getting arrested by or being put on trial by the Israeli court and so. I'm just like, but still, even though he be put on trial, we still it doesn't matter. The show must still go on. The show still must go on regardless. Even if he be put on trial, they still, let's say he on trial right now, the show still must go on. I mean, the wicked bear of rule in this bitch. And they still gonna implement that chip implant. And it ain't like Benjamin Netanyahu's the one that's gonna, no, the fucking Rothschild niggas gonna be the ones. Or whoever's above them. I mean, I look at Benjamin Netanyahu as just another damn puppet. Yeah, just another puppet. And ultimately, the Lord pulling all these niggas strings. But on a low level, Benjamin Netanyahu, he just a puppet, just like Trump is. He just got a little bit more authority than Trump. They're all daggone just puppets, minions. Anyway, let's get to the next video. And I'm like, all that talk about them being arrested, like Benjamin Netanyahu being arrested, I'm just like, that's like some distraction. Like, it's not like he get arrested, he be put on trial for war crimes and all that shit. If it really is about war crimes, probably being put on trial for something else. But anyway, even if he put on trials, guess what? The show still must go on. Still must go on and on and on.
Thanks, man. Where'd you get them from?
Thanks, I got them from
GoBets.com.
What the fuck? Let's get the hell out of here.
Turning now to the most intense fighting between the United States and Iran since President Trump struck a deal for talks. That was 3 weeks ago. The U.S. pounding some 90 targets in Iran overnight, and Iran responding with ballistic missiles and drones aimed at U.S. bases and military assets in the region. We get the latest now from Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes.
I know this was a few days ago. I just now start talking about it. And the reason why I held on to it because what happened recently with Lindsey Graham and had another video. They had, what was that, Lego? Yeah, the Lego. Let me see if I can look that up. About the Lego, Lindsey Graham Lego video that Iran came out with. Nigga was fucking around with a dead girl or baby or I don't know what the fuck.
Another barrage of U.S. strikes has pushed the two-day total of Iranian military targets hit above 170, as the Iranians targeted U.S. facilities in Kuwait, Qatar, and Bahrain. At a funeral march for Ayatollah Khamenei, the crowd unfurled a banner that read, "Hey Trump, we will kill you."
I'm number one on the kill list for...
Oh yeah, he's number one on the kill list. But I don't know what happened. I guess they say it was a heart attack, and when I first heard about it, I thought it was a heart attack, but then there was so much connections when it comes to his what he had, like a drone factory he invested in, and that bitch got bombed. It got bombed the same day his ass is found dead. I don't know, but whatever.
Iran.
The White House offered a new explanation today for why Trump left Turkey yesterday on the old Air Force One after flying there on the new jet gifted by the government of Qatar. They said Trump has many enemies and we use every tool at our disposal, including distraction and misdirection, to address those threats.
Well, hell, America does the same thing too, distract the shit out of the people. Because America sees the American citizens as a threat.
CBS News has learned it was the Secret Service that advised Trump to take the old Air Force One after hostilities reignited in Iran.
If there's actually a war in the region going on, you actually have to take care of the chief executive, and that requires a proper, fully missionized aircraft.
Richard Abalafia is an aerospace expert. What makes you think that the new Air Force One isn't fully missionized?
The amount of time and money that they put into it is frankly laughable. It's coming up with an incredibly elaborate communication suite that allows encrypted communications with U.S. and allied battlefield commanders all over the globe. This is a many-year, many billions of dollars undertaking, but that's not what happened here.
What happened here is that the U.S. Air Force spent about 1 year retrofitting the jet, so Trump was able
All right,
to...
man. I don't want to give a fuck about no damn jet. Anyway. Where's the next video at? Something got moved. I moved some stuff, but I wanted this to be right there next. Yeah, that's what happened. Actually, this is in the wrong spot. What the hell is going on, man? YouTube is full. It's bullshit. Man, I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Well, they say this nigga's a pedo. Oh, well, ain't a homo. He's a homo pedo. KT, and this is coming from GMS Rome Lions on Fire.
Lindsey.
Yeah, subscribe and be edified.
Graham begged Israel to use nuclear weapons against Iran 4 months before his death. Look.
We decided to end the war by bombing Hiroshima and Nagasaki with nuclear weapons. That was the right decision. Give Israel the bombs they need to end the war they can't afford to lose and work with them to minimize casualties. So can I say this? Why is it okay for America to drop 2 nuclear bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki to end their existential threat war? Why was it okay for us to do that? I thought it was okay. To Israel, do whatever you have to do to survive as a Jewish state.
I want you to realize that this is what Lindsey Graham wanted for Iran. He wanted Israel, no, he begged Israel to use nuclear weapons against Iran. Do you understand what would happen if Israel and the United States used nuclear weapons against Iran?
And everybody will be launching missiles. But that ain't gonna happen that way. It ain't gonna happen that soon. You got to have all, like say, you got to have the famine, lockdowns, martial law, pestilence, major, I mean, all that stuff got to be big and major worldwide. Then they got to implement the chip implants. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be so much going on. Heavy persecution, the famine of the word, that ain't even kicked in yet. I mean, we got to wait on that. And then when the chip implants be mandatory and, you know, over a certain period of time, I don't know how long would the chip implants be mandatory and forced upon the people, then the nukes will come. And of course, the World War III going on, people should be getting drafted, but it ain't happening yet. But it's soon to come.
That opens the door for Russia to use nuclear weapons. That opens the door for China, Korea to use nuclear weapons against the United States.
But they're not going to be the only ones using nuclear weapons against the United States. A lot of the NATO, EU countries going to be launching missiles to the United States and Israel.
Now that he has died of a heart attack, it's only going to make that statement of using nuclear weapons against Iran way more stronger.
Lindsey Graham died, and the death was reported to be a sudden death. But Lindsey Graham was also on a hit list of Iran. Let's not forget that. Lindsey Graham, and there were protests in Iran as well showing videos and footage of Lindsey Graham and other figures in the United States with a target on their head. That is Lindsey Graham for you. So did Iran target him? What happened? Is Iran taking down the people who supported the war of aggression against it one by one, including senators? Lindsey Graham was a very, very strong Israeli ally. Benjamin Netanyahu said that this is a great loss for one of Israel's greatest friends. He's an American Republican senator with great influence on foreign politics of the United States. And he was in Ukraine visiting a drone facility before his death, or maybe during. What happened there? That was Lindsey Graham in Ukraine visiting a drone facility, and something actually happened to that drone facility. It was bombed by Russia. It was bombed by Russia's Ministry of Defense without prior warning, and chances are the Russians knew that Lindsey Graham was there. Dmitry Medvedev went to Iran to pay respects for the late Supreme Leader. There's coordination between Russia and Iran. Did Russia kill him? Was Iran involved? Many people are asking that. Now, how comes Lindsey Graham goes to a drone factory, a sudden and surprise death all of a sudden, as soon as he comes back, and they're saying that, oh, we want privacy or whatever. Some people are saying a heart attack doesn't look like it. I mean, anything can happen, hey. But that was him with Zelensky, just what, 24 to 48 hours before the announcement of his death. Was he killed? And the American side is hiding it. Of course, they don't want to, you know, when they want to use this propaganda that Iran is targeting us, it's when it's convenient for them. But when or if Iran or any other country actually kill one of their warmongering, genocidal senators, they wouldn't necessarily want to show it that way, because they want to seem invincible or appear to seem invincible. Appear invincible in front of the whole world, especially after all of these attacks coming from Iran. Did they kill him? Potentially. Listen, why should we put it past Iran? They have that capacity. Lindsey Graham reportedly also posted this before. At least they used a good photo of me. Judge me by my enemies.
Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. I want to give all praises and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash, give me the spirit to do this lesson. This will be a quick lesson / commentary. As you've seen the videos before, what happened to Lindsey Graham. Okay, it's getting very, very real. This is a piece of the puzzle to gather everybody to the Middle East. All right, you might say, oh, it's not a big deal. No, it is a big deal, because he is a key factor. So if Russia, along with Iran, put a hit out on him and execute it, that is a very, very huge deal. Because just a day prior, 2 days prior, you have Trump talking about if they assassinate me, you know, they're going to have 1,000 missiles shot at him, and then after that, another 1,000. Okay, they might kill me. I might die soon. Talking like that. Okay, this was 2 days before. All right.
And you got some other, what's that dude named Mitch McConnell? I don't know. He got some issues going on with him. I don't think it has enough. Cause what was Mitch McConnell? He was dealing with the financial stuff, but whatever.
Period, man. And they have the list. Iran put their list up. Okay, of the targets, and they have Lindsey Graham at the end as the last, but they have Trump as the first, and Netanyahu, etc., etc. Okay, you can look at the list, go on YouTube, go on Google and find it. All right, but this is serious. This is very serious. That's why I read this scripture, Zephaniah 3 and 8. Okay, therefore wait ye upon me, says the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations. So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, they are the ones sending out hits from the heavens. Okay, to rile everything up, more and more and more, and more and more and more. All right, into that gathering. It's all a part of the puzzle. Okay, these different puzzle pieces to come together. All right, to sit everybody in that valley for judgment, for the fire of my jealousy, like I just read in Zephaniah 3:8 at the end. Okay, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. All of this is happening for war. All of this is happening, okay, for the Lord to gather them, all right, for his jealousy, for the controversy of Zion. All right, for the Israelites. That's the truth. Now, there's more videos that I put together. I'm about to play shortly. Okay, but I wanted, to say a couple things and read the scripture, man, because when you see these things cranking up and you see Esau type guys getting hit, okay, Esau on this side, you already know what time it is, man. All right, it is getting very, very real. Very, very real, because we are at the end for real. It's not a joke. Okay, you don't know who's going to be next, because they had him last on the list. All right, they had him last, and he's X'd out. So you see it's getting real. Stay tuned. Keep watching the prophecies, and you will see, man. This place is about to fall. This world economy is about to fall. You have war going on. All right, Iran, America, back at war. It's going higher and higher and higher. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. Okay, so everything is happening according to the Lord's will. All right? So stay tuned for the videos. Shalom.
I want to play this very short clip of his comments on Iran, just to underscore who outlasted who here.
When this regime goes down, we're going to have a new Mideast. We're going to make a ton of money. Nobody will threaten the Straits of Hormuz again. But when this...
So he's not only deceased, but he also is not prophetic. But let's listen to a few more of his words just to get a sense of who Lindsey Graham was, because unlike a lot of U.S. politicians, actually, or maybe I should say like many, if you just listen to their words, you get a good sense of just who they are. This is him at the Republican Jewish Coalition Zionist entity.
So I just want to say I feel good about the Republican Party. I feel good about where we're going as a nation. We're killing all the right people and we're cutting your taxes. Trump is my favorite president. We've run out of bombs. We didn't run out of bombs in World War II.
Very gleeful that the United States has run out of bombs, and this is what he said about the Ukraine conflict, where he was in Kiev prior to his death, and many note that the drone factory he visited was destroyed by Russia. Some speculating maybe he was in that factory. It seems unlikely, but here is what he said about Russia.
Free or die. Now we are free. Yes, and we will be. And the Russians are dying. It's the best money we've ever spent.
So there you go. There is the type of person Lindsey Graham was.
Well, he also said some very interesting things about Gaza.
Oh, right. I can get that one. Nuke Gaza. Yeah. I think that's
yeah. So, yeah.
We want to play you a short montage of Lindsey Graham, and watch as you watch this, his eyes. And you can see that he is, maybe for the first time that day, feeling elevated and light and happy, but also tantalized. You can almost watch his mouth fill with saliva. Some people feel this way in strip bars, others in bakeries. Lindsey Graham is excited by killing.
And Lindsey Graham, I saw a video of him this morning, and he was choking back tears, swallowing back tears, because he was saying he was so proud of President Trump for declaring war and going to war with Iran. He wasn't choking back tears for the American military members that have been killed and their families who are mourning their deaths right now.
Get some money.
He's choking back tears because he's so happy about war. Megan, I can remember on a campaign stage in Lindsey Graham's home county, where he was born and went to elementary school, where he's from. I stood on that stage and spoke before him, and I said, no more foreign wars, no more regime change. And I said, we're going to end the war in Ukraine. The crowd went nuts, thousands of people. Then Lindsey Graham came out right behind me and spoke right after me, and they booed him for 10 minutes on stage.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's all I gotta say. Well, hey man, seek Yahweh Shema Shah by seeking his prophets and take heed of what to say and try to build a spiritual mental relationship with Yahweh Shema Shah by praying Yahweh Shema Shah, praising Yahweh Shema Shah, worship Yahweh Shema Shah, fearing Yahweh Shema Shah, and repenting to Yahweh Shema Shah. To all the men out there pushing this truth and none but the truth in the name, spirit, and the power of Yahweh Shema Shah. Keep on preaching, keep on teaching, keep faith and trust on Yahweh Shema Shah. Stay humble. And for you few sisters out there taking heed, keep your faith and trust on Yahweh Shema Shah. Stay humble, stay in order with your man. If you ain't got no man, stay in order, Yahweh Shema Shah. Peace and bless to the hopeful elect and all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Shalom.